Well, good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch, and about to cook my breakfast. And today we're going to talk about exercise. Exercise and getting older, because what I've learned since I started carnivore about 17 months ago and really went at the exercise thing because I wanted to build muscle, I did realize that I just can't attack it like a 30-year-old would. Because as you get older, no matter how healthy you are, things are going to change. You're going to more than likely develop some joint issue or other if you work too hard. And the exercise advice that we've all been given is to lift heavy things, interval training, high intensity interval training, doing smaller numbers of reps with heavier and heavier weights. And that's great when your goal is basically not to be a bodybuilder, but to put on muscle. And I did. I put on muscle. I did well, but I noticed that it was tough, and tough especially on my shoulders. And interestingly enough, your shoulders certainly are going to be used in almost every upper body exercise that you do, whether they be bench presses, overhead presses, just generally lifting heavy things, and pull downs, even some tricep exercises. So I've kind of changed my philosophy a little bit as far as the exercise goes. And I found that going to the gym and waiting to use the machines and dealing with that, just the culture of all these young people trying to become bodybuilders with, the view that most of us old people are just getting in their way, and, we have no business being there anyway. I kind of pulled back from going to this gym that I was going to and started to do workouts on my own. I started to do more push-ups and squats and things like that, and then go to my little local community gym, because they had dumbbells and they had things where I could do some chest exercises and lighten up the weight a little bit, do a few more reps. And I think that I'm maintaining the muscle that I have. And I've also noticed that on this diet, or lifestyle, if you want to call it that you don't really have much sarcopenia, which is the loss of muscle. I've even seen evidence that without even exercising, you do put on muscle just by virtue of the fact that you're eating the protein and fat and the building materials. But our bodies tend to want to give us the amount of muscle that we need to do the jobs that we do on a regular basis, to make sure we can still do that job, but not give us too much muscle that we really don't use on a regular basis. Because, and this is just the way I look at it, is that, having muscle is overhead for the body and requires energy to maintain. And we all naturally have a built-in genetic or programmed response to conserve energy as a survival benefit. Why use energy that you don't need to use? Which is why regular exercise is almost necessary to keep reminding yourself or reminding your brain that, hey, don't let this muscle go to hell, because it's a muscle I need in order for me to do the things that I need to do to survive and stay alive. So if running fast and throwing spears is something you need to do because if you can't hunt, you can't eat, then of course it becomes beneficial for the body to build and maintain those muscles used in chasing animals and throwing spears at them. So what I did was I decided to build myself a little gym in my house. You'll have to excuse me while I beat my eggs here. I hate to talk over beating eggs. Thank you. Anyway, what I decided was to build myself a little home gym. So I already have a device called an orthopod, which I've talked about in previous videos, which lets me roll over on it, do back extensions, do ab work, things like that. I already do squats, you know, these things. I do about 100 of them a day, every other day or every third day. I do push-ups, which, you know, chest, upper body, and but there's a lot of things I can't do without dumbbells or weights, and the major one of those is like bicep curls. So I decided that maybe I should get myself one of these things like they have at the gym, where you can do chin-ups and pull-ups and dips for triceps. You can hang on it and do your leg ups or your leg extensions where you raise your feet straight out. So I went looking on Amazon and I found this deal. It was $139. So I ordered one. And yesterday, the Amazon guy comes up here with the heaviest box I've ever seen Amazon deliver. And as soon as I get done breakfast, I'm going to start building this thing, because you got to put it together like a piece of IKEA furniture. And it's going to be interesting. And I think what I'm going to do, just for fun, is I'm going to take one of these time-lapse videos that speed it up 10, 20 times and let you see what putting this thing together actually entails. And then, if I have any energy left, I might demonstrate some of the exercises that I'm going to do on it. So I hope you enjoy that. I'm going to go ahead and just finish cooking my breakfast, and we'll come back when I'm ready to build this thing. All right, I've condensed the entire building process down into 5 minutes. I'll put a little music in the background, and I think the whole project took about 2 hours. It's kind of like putting together a piece of IKEA furniture. You start with a box full of parts, and you get out the instructions. And if you're really lucky, the parts resemble the pictures in the instructions. And that was kind of the case with this thing. I was pretty pleased with them, but they really weren't descriptive. And I would say that anybody that isn't really handy and hasn't been building things all their life would probably have to get help with something like this. I also would not recommend this thing for the average 76-year-old. The kind of exercises that you do on this thing are more what an athlete would do. And it may be that I'm a little ambitious here, but I can do chin-ups, although not very many of them, and I can certainly do some of the other exercises. I can do 15 or 20 dips. I can do the leg up stuff. It's Mitch from the future. It's the day after I recorded the video that you're watching, and I had some thoughts that I thought would be good at this point to add. Give you something to listen to while you watch me finish assembling my new gym. Exercise is very important. Not the most important thing, certainly not as important as what we eat, but in terms of overall health, it's vital. It doesn't have to be vigorous. Moving around, using your muscles, doing whatever you can within the confines and limits of your own physical condition, your age, any previous damage you've had, is very important. I don't care, even if you have mobility issues, if you find one of these swim exercise programs, or you just sit down and get up out of the chair a few times. Just attempting what's within your abilities is going to increase those abilities and help you in so many ways. Just going for a walk, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes. As you get better, increase the amount of exercise. But let's face it, most of us are not athletic young people, me especially. I try to push the limits of what I can do, but in reality, I'll never be able to do what the 20-year-old college athletes can do, or the endurance runners. That's never been in my history, and it won't be in my future. But by pushing myself, I have made improvements to both my health and my body that I could not have done just by diet alone, even though that diet has performed miracles. What I'm doing now is trying to find an exercise regimen that I can do to push myself to the limits of what at 76 years old I'm able to do. Not be disappointed if I can't get on that thing and do 20 chin-ups. I'll be happy to do 1 or 2 at the beginning. And as long as I'm not hurting myself, I'll see what the upper limit might be. But the most important thing is to live pain-free, not have accidents, and not damage my body in any way. In the future, I'll be posting videos about my progress on this. Not that you have to emulate what I'm doing, but try and find a regimen of moving around that fits in with your life, because I'm telling you, the benefits that you'll get from it, are innumerable. So think about that. I think by this time in the video you're watching, I've pretty well got this thing assembled, so I'm just going to tell you to take the rest of the day off and eat meat.